hey, we got to start a band. Well, we were in art class together, and we decided we wanted to start a band and incorporate surrealism and pop art and everything into a band. And we also ran long distance. We were on the cross-country team, so we ran out through the desert and pulled the cactus thorns out of our ankles at the end and all that. So we had this drive, you know, no matter what hurdles you come to, you keep going. And we had this idea of, you know, we were the artists in school, therefore we made all of the signs for every event on campus. And we started this band, the Earwigs, because we were a spoof on the Beatles. So we wore wigs, and we were from Cesspool, England. And Alice and I were also in journalism, which came about. I wish I would have paid more attention in journalism, because I had to relearn everything when I did this. But at the time, journalism was an all-girls class. For some reason, it was like home economics. And I signed up for it and took a lot of heat from all of the athletes and everything until they realized I was in the room with all the cuties. And then everybody started trying to sign up, and Alice signed up, and we were sports editors. But this was great for getting all kinds of stories about the Earwigs days in Cesspool into the school paper. So basically you had some wide-eyed kids that wanted to become rock stars, and that's the story of how all of this started. You know, I imagine even for Sinatra there was that point in his life where, you know, he was the kid with the dream. And we followed the dream, and the group was called Alice Cooper eventually. And
where did the name come from, Dennis?
Well, we got tired of changing our names. When we got a job in Phoenix, Arizona at the local club, the guy who ran the club, Jack Curtis, was very much like Dick Clark kind of a guy, kind of wholesome guy, but he was very radio savvy, and he said, that name's got to go. So let's pick another bug. How about the Spiders? We're like, okay, cool. So we got very popular as the Spiders. We had the number 11 single on the radio in Tucson, Arizona, and we were just a year out of high school. Alice was still in high school. So we got very popular as the Spiders. And then another band came out called the Spiders. So, okay, we got to think of another name. We thought of the Nazz. We took that from our heroes, the Yardbirds. The Nazz Are Blue. They had a song. So we became the Nazz, and we were building that name on the West Coast, doing all kinds of gigs with the Doors and everything. And then Todd Rundgren's band put out an album, the Nazz. And so, okay, this time we're going to come up with something nobody will ever think of. So Alice actually was the one that suggested. We were in a barrage of the band did everything, was a big brainstorming session. Every note of every song practically, we were passionate about whose idea was the best and all of that. But we had all these names, you know, snotty-nosed kids, or, you know, frontal lobotomy and all kinds of stuff. And then Vince said, Alice Cooper, it'll be like Lizzie Borden, you know, with the innocent little American girl name, but she's got a hatchet behind her back. And we're like, oh, I don't know. It came to a screeching halt, though. Like, we had to really consider that one. We're like, I don't know if we're ready for that. We were out to outrage people, but we weren't sure we were ready. We were already getting chased out of town by pickups with the guns and the racks and everything. So we didn't know if we wanted it. But I went home to my parents' house, and they said, what have you been doing? Well, we have a new name, Alice Cooper. And the look on my parents' face sold me. I said, that's the name. So we became Alice Cooper, and it was the group. There wasn't a person that was Alice Cooper at that point. In fact, we were so avant-garde with our music and our doing all this artistic stuff into a band that if somebody said, hey, Alice, that was a sign to the band that they weren't hip to what we were up to. So that's what this book is about, just basically these high school kids who got this dream in our heads, and we didn't know how to give up. We went through, everybody seemed to be against us for years, until Frank Zappa, you know, his ears perked up. And so that's what it's about. It's about pursuing that dream.
Excellent. Well, I was 12 when the Beatles appeared on Ed Sullivan, February 9th, 1964. And it was about 9 weeks after President Kennedy had been assassinated, 9 of the worst weeks in this country's history.